He thought it was just a joke, a tiny, starving dragon on the side of the road. But when he handed it a hot dog, he never imagined that small act of kindness would one day save his life from the most powerful dragon empire in the galaxy. The highway stretched like a silver ribbon under the fading light of a neon sunset. Beyond the city, the hum of hover cars grew faint, replaced by the soft whistle of wind across the empty road. Alex rode his motorbike slowly, scanning the deserted stretch ahead. It was the kind of road where stories were born, stories of accidents, strange sightings, or even whispered legends. But tonight, Alex was just looking for a quiet path to clear his mind. That's when he saw it. At first, he thought it was a child, shivering by the side of the road. But the shape was wrong. Too small, too delicate, with thin, fragile wings folded tightly against its back. The creature was curled on the asphalt, trembling violently. Its scales were dull, almost dusty, and patches of skin showed where it had clearly gone hungry for days. Alex slowed to a stop, his heart hammering. Dragons were everywhere in stories and warnings in the city, but seeing one in person, so small, so helpless, was something else entirely. The news always painted them as merciless, terrifying creatures who devoured humans without thought. People called them the apex predators of the galaxy. Yet this creature looked like a child, terrified and starving. Alex hesitated. His friends would never understand. "Don't get close," they would warn. "Dragons are dangerous." But something deep inside him, the part that hated cruelty, urged him forward. He set his bike on its stand and crouched a few meters away. The dragon flinched, letting out a tiny hiss that barely escaped its mouth. Its eyes, large and amber-colored, locked on Alex's. There was fear there, yes, but also something else, a glimmer of intelligence, of awareness. Alex's stomach knotted. He looked around. The nearest food stall was just a few meters away, glowing under the neon lights, the smell of grilled meats wafting faintly on the wind. Without a second thought, he sprinted toward it. The vendor, an older man with a grease-stained apron, glanced up as Alex grabbed a hot dog. "Hey, that's not just a snack," Alex said quickly, tossing a few credits onto the counter. The man shrugged, returning to his sizzling grill. Alex dashed back to the dragon, holding the hot dog carefully, as if offering a peace treaty. The dragon's nostrils flared, and it hissed again, but this time there was curiosity mixed with hunger. Alex dropped the hot dog a few feet away. "It's okay," he said softly. "I'm not going to hurt you." The creature's eyes narrowed, scanning him, wings twitching nervously. But hunger won over fear. It crept forward, claws clicking lightly on the asphalt. Alex stayed completely still, heart thudding. The dragon reached the hot dog, sniffed it, and then, almost timidly, took a bite. Its small body shivered as it chewed. Alex could see its ribs under the thin layer of scales. Every motion spoke of weeks, maybe months, of suffering. "You're starving," Alex whispered. He looked around again. No one was near, no patrol drones, no hovercar cameras, just him, the dragon, and the road stretching endlessly in both directions. He grabbed another hot dog and held it out. "Here, take this too." The dragon paused for a long moment, head tilting, eyes fixed on him. Then it edged closer and took the second hot dog from his hand, still trembling but no longer hissing. Its wings twitched as though testing the air, and Alex caught a faint shimmer of color in the scales, an amber glow that pulsed faintly in the dim light. He had never seen anything like it before. "You're smart, aren't you?" he muttered under his breath. The dragon's eyes locked onto his again, and he could swear there was recognition there. A strange, unspoken connection formed in that quiet moment, the kind of bond that couldn't be broken by fear or distance. Alex's pulse raced, not from danger, but from awe. Minutes passed. The dragon ate until there was nothing left. Alex sat back on his heels, breathing heavily, tried to process what had just happened. Around him, the world seemed impossibly quiet. Even the wind had softened, as if holding its breath. Alex glanced at his motorbike, then back at the dragon. "I should go," he said reluctantly. "You need rest, not me hovering here all night." He knew he couldn't take the creature with him. Not safely, not in the city. But leaving felt impossible. It was as if every instinct told him to stay. Finally, with a deep, shaky sigh, Alex stood, and backed away slowly. The dragon watched him, body tense, wings flickering nervously. Its amber eyes never left him, and for a moment, Alex swore it looked almost human, almost as if it understood that this one act of kindness mattered. He mounted his bike and started it, the engine buzzing through the silence. The dragon made no move to follow, no cry, just watched. Alex felt a pang of guilt as he sped away down the highway, glancing back over his shoulder. Its eyes remained fixed on him, glowing faintly in the neon dusk. A chill ran down his spine. He didn't know it yet, but this small, starving dragon would not forget him, and one day it would change his life forever. As the city lights grew nearer, the dragon let out a soft, almost imperceptible sound, a hiss that felt more like a promise. Alex had no idea what the universe had just set in motion, and that was only the beginning. Years passed. Life moved on for Alex like a quiet river, carrying him away from the memory of that small, trembling dragon by the roadside. He grew taller, stronger, and more cautious of the world. The city became his home, its neon glow and constant filling the spaces where stories of dragons had once seemed real and urgent. He found a job at a tech workshop, repairing old hover cars and assembling drones for delivery systems. The work was steady, predictable, safe. Alex liked it that way. Dragons were nothing but a distant memory, a strange encounter from a night he barely believed had happened. Sometimes he would catch himself smiling at the thought of the tiny creature, but he never imagined it would matter again. That was before the rumors began. Whispers reached him first through the news feeds. Stories of strange, massive dragons appearing over faraway colonies, conquering planets with terrifying efficiency. Entire star systems were reportedly under their control. Some broadcasts claimed that dragons had learned to communicate across vast distances, strategizing like generals. Humans were running, surrendering, or disappearing entirely. At first, Alex thought it was exaggeration. Sensationalized fear meant to sell hollow feeds. But then the symbols began to appear. They started subtly, glimmering streaks in the sky, shapes too geometric and organized to be natural phenomena. Circular patterns, spirals, and jagged lines that hovered over city for hours, sometimes days. No one knew exactly what they meant. Experts claimed they were a warning, an unmistakable signature of the Dragon Empire. Alex felt a shiver run down his spine every time he saw one. And then the shadows came. It began innocuously at first, a flash of movement across the corner of his vision, the rustle of wings that weren't his own. He told himself it was paranoia, leftover nerves from that night years ago. Maybe it was just drone stray lights or his imagination. But over the weeks, he noticed more, brief glimpses of shapes, silhouettes against the moon, scales glinting faintly. He started checking rooftops, scanning the sky, but never caught more than a flicker. One evening, after a long day at the workshop, Alex returned to his small apartment. The city was quiet, unusually quiet for a Thursday night. As he prepared dinner, he glanced out the window and his stomach tightened. A shadow moved across the building, massive, impossibly wide and powerful. Alex froze, staring. It was bigger than any dragon he had ever imagined. Its wingspan stretched far beyond the distance between his apartment and the neighboring buildings. The tail alone seemed longer than a hover car. His mind raced, trying to rationalize it. Maybe it's a drone, a cargo ship, but the movement was organic, fluid, deliberate. The shadow lingered, gliding across the window, then disappeared as suddenly as it had appeared. Alex's heart pounded in his chest. He stumbled back, tripping over the rug, his mind spinning. This was no random dragon from a story. This was something powerful, something intelligent, something that seemed personal. The city lights flickered below, and Alex couldn't shake the feeling that he'd been watched, studied, and followed for years without realizing it. A cold realization spread through him. The tiny dragon he had helped so long ago might not have been alone, and perhaps it had never truly left. He leaned against the wall, trying to steady his breathing. "It can't be. It's impossible," he whispered. But deep down, he knew the truth. Dragons were no longer creatures of myth. They were rulers now, shaping the galaxy with precision and strategy. And somehow, he was connected to them. Somehow, the small act of kindness he had shown years ago had set wheels in motion that he didn't yet understand. Sleep eluded him that night. Every creak, every distant rumble made him tense. Every shadow cast by passing hover cars seemed heavier, more threatening. He kept glancing at the sky, half expecting to see those strange symbols etched in neon again, hovering silently as if reminding him of his debt to fate, or the debt owed to him. By morning, the fear had not lessened. The world outside continued as if nothing had changed, but Alex knew differently. Something was coming, something that was neither human nor predictable. He could almost feel its eyes on him, intelligent, aware, waiting. And though he didn't know it yet, the dragon he once fed was watching too, not as a helpless creature, but as a guardian, a force growing in power and loyalty. The Empire was vast. Its soldiers were fierce. And Alex was about to find out that kindness, even a simple hot dog, could ripple through time and space in ways no one could anticipate. He glanced out the window one last time before leaving for work. For a brief moment, he thought he saw the glimmer of amber in the shadow of a massive wing. Then it vanished. But Alex would never forget that look. And he would never forget that feeling, that sense that he was not alone, that his life was somehow entwined with the rise of the most powerful dragons in the galaxy. And so, the stage was set. The Empire was rising, and Alex's small, forgotten act of compassion was about to become his only hope. The morning was ordinary, almost peaceful, when the world shifted around Alex. He was walking through the crowded streets of the city, earbuds in, lost in the rhythm of hover cars whizzing overhead and the chatter of people. He had long since stopped thinking about the tiny dragon he had fed years ago, until the shadows appeared again. They came from the sky, silent and fast. Before Alex could even react, a patrol of dragons descended from above, wings beating with impossible speed. These were no ordinary dragons. They were elite, larger than anything Alex had seen before, with scales that shimmered like molten metal and eyes that glowed with cold intelligence. Their riders were humans clad in sleek black armor, helmets shaped like dragon heads. Alex froze, his heart pounding. "No, this can't be real," he whispered. But reality struck harder than fear. The patrol surrounded him in seconds, blocking every exit. One of the human commanders stepped forward, his voice amplified with strange device that made it sound almost reptilian. "Alex Mercer," the man said, "you are guilty of treason. You showed kindness to a dragon. That is a crime under the Dragon Empire's law. You will be delivered to the Emperor as an example of human weakness." Alex's mind raced. "Treason? I just fed a starving creature." The commander's eyes narrowed. "It was not your choice to ignore it. Every human must obey the laws of the Dragon Empire. You defied them. You are marked." Before Alex could react, powerful hands grabbed him. He struggled. But the elite warriors were stronger, faster, and more coordinated than any human he had ever seen. They bound him with energy shackles that burned cold against his skin and lifted him effortlessly into the sky atop one of the dragons. The city below blurred into streaks of neon and metal as they ascended. Panic rose in Alex's chest. He tried to think, tried to plan, but every instinct told him the same terrifying truth. No human army, no weapon, no rebellion could fight this force. These dragons were organized, ruthless, and powerful beyond imagination. And he was alone. They traveled for hours, or it felt like hours, through the clouds, past floating cities, and asteroid belts that glimmered in the distance. Finally, they approached the Emperor's lair, a fortress perched on a massive, floating island of obsidian rock, surrounded by swirling clouds of green energy. Its towers stretched into the sky like claws, and Alex could hear the faint roar of dragons echoing through the clouds. The Emperor waited. Alex's stomach churned. He had heard stories of the Emperor, a dragon larger than a city block, with scales like polished obsidian and eyes that could see the truth of any being's soul. To face him was to face certain death. The guards dragged Alex toward the main gate, their grip firm, unyielding. Every step brought him closer to the center of the Empire, closer to the point where no human had ever returned. He swallowed hard, trying to steady his shaking hands. And then he saw movement. At first, it was just a flicker, a shadow against clouds, fast and impossible. Then it grew larger, a streak of amber light cutting through the sky. The familiar hiss of wings filled the air, stronger, deeper, and more commanding than anything Alex had ever heard. His heart froze. The small dragon he had fed years ago, the one he thought he left behind, was back, and it was no longer small. Its body had grown enormous, sleek and muscular, with scales glowing like molten gold and wings wide enough to blot out the sun. Its eyes, those same intelligent, amber eyes, locked onto Alex with recognition and determination. With a deafening roar, it dove into patrol. The elite guards tried to respond, firing energy lances and swinging weapons, but the dragon was too fast. It swooped and struck with precision, knocking riders from their dragons and sending scales and sparks flying through the air. Alex's jaw dropped. It remembers me, he whispered, all mixing with relief. The dragon lunged again, claws slashing with incredible speed. One by one, the elite dragons fell back, retreating under the ferocity of the fully grown creature. The patrol commander shouted orders, but the dragon anticipated every move, moving with intelligence and strategy that rivaled the humans themselves. Alex's heart pounded, not with fear this time, but with hope. The creature he had helped, the one he thought he had saved for a single night, had grown powerful and loyal. It had waited, watched, and now it was here to protect him. The guard recovered and advanced again, but the dragon roared, a sound so deep and commanding that it echoed through the floating fortress itself. Alex felt the energy in his chest shift, a strange warmth spreading through him. The impossible had happened. A human and a dragon, bound by kindness and memory, were about to challenge the might of the Dragon Empire. And yet, the danger was far from over. The Emperor was still waiting, a shadow larger and darker than any dragon Alex had ever seen. Its presence loomed over the horizon, promising a confrontation that could decide not just Alex's fate, but the future of humans in the galaxy. Alex took a deep breath, gripping the energy shackles that had once held him. His small dragon hovered beside him, wings slicing the air like blades, eyes glowing with determination. "Hold on, old friend," Alex muttered. "We're not done yet." And with that, the final approach to the Emperor's lair began, an impossible journey that would test courage, loyalty, and the bond between human and dragon like never before. The wind tore past Alex's face as he clung to the back of the massive dragon. Its wings beat with a strength that made the air roar, carrying them high above the floating fortress. Below, the Dragon Empire's patrols regrouped, their sleek black dragons circling like sharks in clouds. But the dragon he had fed years ago, no longer tiny, no longer weak, was more than a predator. It was a strategist. The massive creature dove suddenly, claws extended, scattering a squadron of elite dragon soldiers before they could react. Energy blasts screamed past them, barely missing Alex's shoulder. The dragon twisted midair, forcing two dragons to collide and plummet into green storm clouds below. Sparks rained from the fallen energy lances, and Alex's jaw dropped. It's thinking, he whispered, voice trembling. "It's actually thinking." The dragon roared, a sound that shook the clouds themselves. It circled back, diving toward another patrol, then suddenly veered, drawing the enemy into a trap Alex didn't even understand. But the dragon did. The soldiers followed blindly, rushing into a narrow canyon in the clouds. With a sudden flap of massive wings, the dragon kicked up a storm of energy-charged wind, throwing half the squadron off balance. Dozens of dragons collided, fell, or were forced to retreat. Alex clung tightly, amazed and terrified. "You've grown, you're incredible," he shouted over the wind. The dragon's amber eyes met his for a brief second, and Alex felt an understanding pass between them. This wasn't just loyalty, it was a partnership. They were a team now, united by trust and gratitude. The chaos bought them time. Alex urged the dragon higher, over the floating towers and energy fields of the Emperor's fortress. "We can't stop here," he yelled. "The Empire is huge. We can't outrun them forever." The dragon's wings beat harder, sending them into a sharp ascent. Alex felt the air pressure change, his stomach lurching as the fortress disappeared beneath the clouds. Then, in a voice that was not spoken but somehow understood, the dragon communicated. "Alex, you are not alone. There are others, many others, dragons you helped in the past. They remember you." Alex blinked. "Others? You mean more of them?" "Yes. They wait, hidden, loyal only to you. The Dragon Empire does not control all. Not every dragon obeys the Emperor. Alex's mind raced. Years of small acts of kindness, feeding a hatchling, helping a lost dragonling, suddenly took on new meaning. Every choice had rippled through the dragon world in ways he could never have imagined. Below, the patrols began to regroup, but now the skies seemed different. Shadows moved in places Alex hadn't noticed before. From distant clouds, massive silhouettes emerged, dragons of all sizes, their wings shimmering with scales of gold, silver, and emerald. Each one responded to the call of his loyal dragon, forming a protective network around Alex and his companion. The Emperor, sensing the rebellion forming, decided to act. From the shadows of the fortress, a single figure emerged, the ultimate dragon champion, a beast said to be undefeatable. Its scales were black as obsidian, reflecting no light, and its eyes glowed with a cold, ruthless intelligence. Its wings stretched wide, blotting out the sun itself. The Emperor's champion roared, a sound so deep it made Alex's bones vibrate. Alex felt fear like he had never known. Even the massive dragon beneath him hesitated for a fraction of a second. "It's huge," Alex whispered. "How do we fight that?" The dragon growled, a low, warning rumble that carried across the clouds. "We fight smart, not strong. Together." In an instant, the loyal dragon dove toward the champion, baiting it, darting and weaving in impossible patterns. Alex watched, breathless, as it used the terrain of the clouds, the floating rocks, and the swirling winds as weapons. The champion lunged, fire and energy spewing, but every strike was anticipated and avoided. Alex realized the battle wasn't just brute strength. It was strategy, tactics, and understanding. Then, from the distant clouds, the other dragons joined. Hundreds, maybe thousands, forming a coordinated strike that forced the champion back. Alex's chest swelled with awe. This wasn't just a fight. It was a rebellion. The dragons he had touched with kindness had remembered. They had organized themselves, loyal to one human, to protect him against the might of an empire. As the battle raged, Alex held on tighter. He had never felt more alive or more connected to something greater. Every swoop, every dive, every calculated strike reinforced a single truth. Acts of compassion, no matter how small, could change the course of history. And yet, even as the champion retreated slightly, its eyes burned with determination. The battle was far from over. The Emperor would not let Alex survive easily. The ultimate challenge was still ahead. Alex looked down at the loyal dragon beneath him, wings spread wide, muscles coiled and ready. "All right," he said, voice steady now. "Let's finish this." Together, the sky darkened with the presence of the Emperor's champion. A storm of wings, fire, and energy surrounded them. The final confrontation was coming, the one that would decide the fate of Alex, the dragons loyal to him, and perhaps the entire human race. And in that moment, Alex understood the truth. Sometimes courage and loyalty could outmatch power, and a single act of kindness could echo through the galaxy in ways no one could ever predict. The sky was alive with fire, energy, and the roar of wings as Alex and his dragon ally faced the Emperor's ultimate champion. The massive black dragon circled above, eyes glowing with lethal intelligence, wings stirring storms that whipped the clouds into a frenzy. Lightning crackled from its claws, and the air itself seemed to tremble with power. Alex gripped the leather harness tightly, feeling the dragon's muscles shift beneath him. The wind tore at his hair and clothes, but he felt calm, not because he was fearless, but because he trusted the creature beneath him completely. They had been through so much together, years of separation, memory, and loyalty, building a bond that no empire could break. "Remember," the dragon's voice echoed his mind, sharp and commanding, "we fight smart, not strong. Follow my lead." Alex nodded, heart racing. "I'm ready." The champion lunged first, wings slicing through the air like sharpened blades. Its roar echoed across the floating islands, a challenge meant to terrify. But the loyal dragon moved in perfect sync with Alex, dodging and weaving through the storm. Striking at weak points the champion revealed. Its claws raked along armored scales, and a sudden twist of its massive tail sent the black dragon crashing into clouds, staggering it. Alex shouted, adrenaline fueling his courage. "Now, let it toward the canyon." The dragon understood immediately. They soared low, near jagged floating rocks, where the champion's size became a disadvantage. The black dragon tried to follow, but the tight space slowed its massive wings. Alex's dragon darted in and out, taunting it, drawing it closer to the trap. Then came the final move. From the clouds, the hidden network of dragons loyal to Alex descended. They swarmed the champion, using precision strikes and coordinated attacks. It was not brute force alone, but teamwork, intelligence, and loyalty that turned the tide. The champion roared in frustration, spinning wildly, but was surrounded, outnumbered, and outsmarted. Alex felt the dragon beneath him rise higher, wings slice in the air, positioning the champion perfectly. "Strike now!" the dragon commanded. With a powerful dive, the loyal dragon slammed into the champion, hitting it in a vulnerable spot near the chest. The black dragon thrashed, claws lashing, fire blazing, but the coordinated dragons pressed the advantage. Finally, the champion crashed into the canyon below, shaking the floating rocks with its impact. It struggled to rise, but the loyal dragons kept it pinned. Alex's dragon landed beside him, wings folding gracefully, its chest heaving but steady. Silence fell. The storm clouds calmed, the sky cleared, and for the first time, Alex felt relief wash over him. The Dragon Empire's remaining forces hovered above, stunned. Slowly, the Emperor himself appeared, a shadow looming over the battlefield. His massive dragon form glinted in the sunlight, wings spread wide. He landed with a thunderous roar. "You have done what no human has ever done," the Emperor's voice rumbled, both fear and respect in it. "You have influence over dragons, loyalty that even the Empire cannot command. The humans cannot be ignored. If even one can inspire such obedience." Alex swallowed hard, his hand still gripping the harness. "It's not power," he said, voice steady. "It's kindness, respect, and courage." The Emperor regarded him silently, then gave a slow nod. The remaining soldiers lifted off, retreating to the fortress. The Empire would regroup, but they now understood something they had not before. Fear alone could not rule dragons or humans. Alex looked at the loyal dragon beneath him, amber eyes glowing warmly. "We did it," he whispered. The dragon lowered its massive head, nudging him gently with a clawed paw, as if acknowledging their shared victory. For the first time, Alex realized the full truth. Even a small act of kindness, feeding a hungry dragon, could ripple through time, loyalty, and the galaxy. One simple gesture had sparked trust, allegiance, and ultimately, survival against the mightiest force in the universe. He smiled, a weight lifting from his shoulders. "We changed things together." The dragon reared, stretching its wings. Alex climbed higher onto its back. The sky was clear now, the horizon stretching endlessly with stars beginning to twinkle in the distance. They rose above the clouds, soaring freely away from battle and fear. As they flew, Alex looked down at the floating islands, the Empire's fortress shrinking below. Dragons of all sizes, loyal to him, followed in a distant formation. Humans and dragons, once divided by fear and misunderstanding, were beginning to coexist in ways he had never imagined. The camera of the mind's eye would pan outward to the stars, Alex riding the massive dragon, the wind whipping past him. The galaxy seemed full of possibilities, adventures waiting, unexplored systems, and dragons yet to meet who might remember kindness. Alex tightened his grip on the harness and laughed aloud, a sound of triumph and hope. "We're just getting started," he said. The dragon roared in agreement, a sound that carried across the stars, echoing the promise of future journeys. In that moment, Alex understood a simple truth. Fear and tyranny could not overcome courage and compassion. And with loyalty, intelligence, and teamwork, humans and dragons could face even impossible and win. The stars stretched before them, endless and shining, hinting at countless adventures yet to come.